Give him a name, all right?
It looks like a Michael. No, I think it looks more like a Jimmy.
Yo, DP.
That's a good one. That's cool.
DP, Martin, that is so nice. Where'd you come up with that, honey?
Dead plumber, baby.
What up? Welcome back to the Fifth Flow Podcast. Today we're going to go ahead and actually review Season 1, Episode 5, titled Dead Men Don't Flush. So, before we go ahead and actually get to this 5th episode in Season 1, you know what I do. I like to set the stage and let you know what was going on in the world when this actually premiered. Now, this particular episode premiered September 24th, 1992, has a runtime of 21 minutes, produced at Stage 31 Universal Studios as normal, directed by Chuck Vinson and David Wyatt. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the world. The Vatican-Mexico relations. After 130 years of severed ties, Mexico and the Vatican officially restored full diplomatic relations. This ended a century of official secularism that had essentially stripped the church of legal status in Mexico. So obviously something really important going on there. Second, we had the end of nuclear testing on September 23rd. The United States conducted its final full-scale underground nuclear test, codenamed Divider, at the Nevada test site. This marked the conclusion of a 47-year era of testing that began with the Trinity test in 1945. Shortly thereafter, a moratorium on nuclear testing was enacted, which remains in place today. So no more underground nuclear testing. Good for the planet. And last but not least in the news, we have on September 20th, the Space Shuttle Endeavour returned to Earth. This mission made history by carrying Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space. And as a side note, she actually was also the first astronaut that appeared in a Star Trek series. She actually appeared in Star Trek The Next Generation. So that's what we have in the news. Let's take a look at what's going on in the culture. On September 18th, the grunge movement kind of officially started. The film Singles, directed by Cameron Crowe, premiered in theaters on September 18th. Set in Seattle, it served as a high-profile introduction to the grunge subculture for mainstream America. The soundtrack, featuring Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Soundgarden, became an instant classic, capturing the musical Seattle sound that was dominating the world. So if you were a fan of grunge, this is what kind of kicked it off. Now, the top 5 songs that were jamming at that particular time. Number 5, She's Playing Hard to Get by High Five. Humping Around, Bobby Brown. Baby, 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 TLC. Sometimes Love Just Ain't Enough. And Continuous Run, End of the Road by Boyz II Men. On the movie scenes, we have number 5 was School Ties with Brendan Fraser and Matt Damon. Number 4, Husbands and Wives with Woody Allen and Mia Farrow. Number 3, Singles with Bridget Fonda and Matt Dillon. Number 2, Captain Ron with Kurt Russell and Martin Short. And number 1 for the second week in a row was Sneakers. And then the last little thing on there in the television land, actually on September 23rd, the sitcom Mad About You, starring Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt, premiered on NBC. Of course, that definitely had its run, but it was not running up against Martin, so it's inconsequential, but it was a main staple in the 90s. So that's what we have for culture. That's where this episode comes in at. That's the vibe of the world. Let's get into the episode. The title, Dead Men Don't Flush. The synopsis is like this. Martin calls a plumber to fix his broken toilet, but the workman dies in his bathroom. Simple, cut dry. With a runtime of 21 minutes, this is a really compact story. And you'll even see how it is as far as the way they laid it out. The ratings for this actually came in at 16.2 million, coming off of the previous 4th episode. We have an opportunity to go ahead and actually really capture an audience here and hook, line, and sinker them to see if you can go ahead and actually say, is this maintaining or not? So hopefully we can go ahead and actually do that. Let's take a look at this episode. Now, right off, again, we have our 5th Martin monologue in a row. But this, I'm going to say, is drastically misplaced because here he actually first mentions the name Miss Trinidad, his, I believe, 3rd grade teacher, if it was. And, of course, he was enamored with her. He has the crush on her and everything like that. Could totally appreciate it. But as all good Martin fans know, Miss Trinidad actually makes an appearance in later episodes. So it would have been better put right there. But subdue expectations by going ahead and actually giving her right here. And it was a funny little story. I'll have to go ahead and actually just play you a clip of it so you know exactly the ridiculousness that Martin went to tell the story of his crush on Miss Trinidad.
She wrote this special song just for me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, P, P.
So there you go. We already know with that monologue, we're off to a good start. So let's go ahead and actually flash to the first scene, which is actually in Martin's apartment. Because here's the thing, the whole entire episode is actually set in Martin's apartment. So we already on off jump actually have a very contained type of premise where we can go and actually figure out, hey, this is where we're going to go and actually spend our time. From the very beginning, we see Martin working on his toilet. We know that obviously it's broken because he's in there just struggling, all kinds of stuff on there. Matter of fact, it's very Looney Tunesy how much stuff he has all up in there. It's just crazy. And with him up here having work on the toilet, plumber finally walks in and lets him know that he's here for him. So before I go on and go more into the scene, I got to tell you about the plumber, who is the only extra player in this episode outside of the original, the core group of characters, right? So Mike Haggerty is the plumber. He actually started acting in the early 70s. His career spanned 5 decades. He's both a familiar face on television as well as movie screens. Played so many different roles. You'll know him, so you see him. Gonna have a picture of him here so that you know what he looks like. But he's just got that kind of lovable big guy type of face, right? And honestly, for me, this episode quintessential. Every time I saw him after this, he was always going to go ahead and actually be DP for me. That's just the way it was. How he stuck out. Unfortunately, Mike actually passed away May 5th of 2022 from a seizure. So, rest in peace to Mike Haggerty. But he did not waste his talents on this episode, because this was an awesome episode for him to come in at. So him as a plumber comes on in and makes a couple of cracking jokes on here, because he, as typical plumbers are, running late, coming on in to fulfill the appointment, and actually making fun of Martin and all that kind of stuff in the piece on there. And of course, Martin's like, look, man, can you get this fixed or not? Because I'm going to work and I'm going to a game tonight. Can you get this fixed? Plumber says, yeah, it kind of depends. And this is how he poses it.
In that case, you could have something in your fixture drain, something in your waste pipe, or something in your waste stack, which will cost you. It may cost you little, it may cost you a lot. Well, it will cost you.
So there you go. So of course, Martin goes and actually leaves him. Now, before I go ahead and actually go to the next part where Cole and Martin are, I want you to take a look at the makeup of the bathroom and the setting as it compares to the rest of what we know Martin's apartment to go and actually look like, of that little miniature hallway, and then you go to the left and go to the bedroom. And honestly, if you just look at it, it's not made up right. There's actually a wall there. There's no hall that goes off that should be going to that bedroom. So obviously we've made a bathroom for this particular closed off set that doesn't match with the anatomy of the apartment or whatever. Not a big thing, but once you go ahead and actually see it, you can't unsee it. If you actually notice behind the wall that they actually have there, also with Mellow Man Ace from his The Brother with Two Tongues album. So that's a poster that's hanging there. There's actually another poster to the right of that, but the other poster actually is Ho Frat Ho. And that was actually a rap group back in 1992. And that was actually the title of the album, was Ho Frat Ho. So I had never heard of that group before I kind of took a look and looked at that poster, what have you, but that's the poster that's there. Also in the bathroom, off to the wall here, I'm going to show you that there's actually a Cleveland Browns picture, which is kind of weird because obviously we've already established that Martin is into Detroit and Michigan, things like that. But Cleveland Browns player on there, and I can't tell exactly who it is. I'm thinking that it's either of Jim Brown or Ernie Davis. You can't really see the number, so I'm not entirely sure, but either one would have been relevant. Jim Brown obviously being the most famous running back in Cleveland Browns history, one of the most famous backs of all time, very much pro-black activist and things like that. And Ernie Davis of being the first black Heisman Trophy winner and actually got drafted by Cleveland, but passed away at a very young age. Either one of those would be totally relevant for Martin to go and actually have in his bathroom, but I want to point those out. So now let's get back to it. Now we go ahead and actually go into a scene where Martin is talking to Cole about like, hey, I'm about to get up out of here, and you make sure you keep an eye on the plumber. And Cole, as usual, so like, man, I can't go ahead and actually stay here. I need to, I might need to go ahead and actually, use the bathroom, whatever. He's like, hey, man, I told you use the bathroom before you come over here. The reason why I got you over here is to do this right here. Besides, if you ain't going to go and actually help me out right here, you ain't going to the Pistons game tonight. There's your hook. Cole's into it. We're going. So Martin goes off to work, and Cole's there with the plumber. Plumber kind of comes in and does plumber type stuff of just like not quite immediately getting to work. But we cut away from that particular scene. Next thing, we go ahead and actually have a time flash forward where we're still in Martin's apartment. He's back and he's asking like, hey, Cole, who's sitting there, like, hey, did he fix my toilet? And Cole like, he ain't really doing nothing. And Martin goes in there and actually finds out that basically the plumber is laying there unconscious, as it were. So just pure comedy ensues.
All right, yeah. Clear.
Of Martin checking, he's asking like, Cole, did you check for his pulse? Did you check for him? Something like that. Cole, like, first of all, I don't touch dead bodies. And second of all, if they go ahead and actually see that it's a white dude that's dead in a black man's apartment, this is what Cole says.
Did you call 911, Cole? 911, are you kidding me, man? A dead white guy in a black man's apartment. Man, they be blaming me, all right? Yeah, then they be holding me off to jail. Yeah, see, and next thing you know, I'm on trial, man, in Simi Valley, California.
Simi Valley, California. Now, Simi Valley, California is where, if you don't know, that's where the Rodney King stuff jumped off, where Rodney King got beat by officers and set off the LA riots. So you can see how that translated into the culture going at that particular time. But they keep on trying to do different things to go ahead and actually try and get the plumber revived, check on him and things like that. And they kind of make that determination that he's gone, he's dead, or what have you. We switch a little bit, fast forward a little bit more. We're now probably like minutes away from the game jumping off or what have you stuff. Tommy's coming on over. Martin's already called 911, said they're not here. He had called them like 30 minutes ago. They're still not there. Tommy comes on in and says like, hey, what's up with y'all? Said like, oh man, the plumber came and went. So
Dead? What? How'd he die?
I don't know, man. Think like this.
Tommy now knows that the plumber's dead, and they're still trying to match around like, what are they going to go ahead and actually do about the plumber situation, right? And so they go and actually try, talking about a few different things or whatever. And all of a sudden, who comes on in? So Gina and Pam are here now, and they don't want them to go ahead and actually see him, right? So Martin goes and actually pulls Gina off to the side, and he trying to go ahead and actually trying to kind of find a way to go ahead and actually break it to her. So while he's sitting up there trying to go ahead and actually describe it to her, whatever, Tommy and Cole forgets, don't stop Pam. So Pam heads right on off up in there, and she goes and actually sees that there's a dead body up in there, right? So they go out in panic, and now all 5 of the crew now knows that there's a dead plumber in the house, and they're not trying to figure out what to go ahead and actually do.
When I told you I was having trouble with the toilet?
Yeah, but baby, I didn't think it was that bad. This is so awful. I feel so bad for that poor man. Does this mean we're not going to the Pistons game?
So the main thing that they all want to go ahead and actually do, right, is to call 911 and get the body out of there. So they do, and they're waiting for 911. They're going to come. 911's not coming. Matter of fact, Martin goes and actually says this.
Yo, you know what? I think I know their problem. 911's a joke. I know what's up.
By that, he's actually referencing an actual song, as most of y'all don't actually know. 911 is a joke that was sung by Public Enemy back in the day, and that was a prevalent thing all the way on through. 911 is just a joke. basically making satire, making fun of just how he doesn't respond to black people, especially those in the hood. And you know what? They weren't wrong. But anyways, so now we go ahead and actually get a situation where it's actually hilarious. Martin says, like, I know how to go and actually get them on over here. Calls up 911, and he goes and actually puts on his white guy voice, right?
Oh, no, I'm a white man. I can tell you the truth. I am a white man. Nothing makes my day more bright than waking up white, I gotta tell you.
And it results in them going and actually having a trivia game with the 911 operator for him to prove that he's white. And I'm just going to let y'all hear the hilarious different questions and ways they go about it.
Well, I mean, I can prove it. Ask me anything. Okay, fine. They want to know what America's favorite pie is.
No, it's apple pie. Baby, say apple pie.
Good answer. Name 2 Barry Manilow songs.
Copacabana and Mandy.
All right, what do you put on a sandwich?
Hot sauce. Yeah. And some barbecue sauce if it's a hot links. Hello?
I love that first one because they go ahead and actually act like it's Family Feud. It's not Family Feud, y'all, but still was hilarious, right? So, of course, Cole blowing it means that 911's not coming. So now we transition now to the guys taking their dead body, bringing it all out to the couch and laying him up because they were going to go ahead and actually, their plan was to go ahead and pour scotch down his mouth, kick him down the stairs, and call 911 says that some kind of accident happened with him or whatever. It was just like there's a weird thing on there, and that was like one of the things that they're going to go with. But they decide that, we can't just go and actually do that. Gina says, like, let's have a funeral because he's a real live person. So let's do the funeral aspect for him, right? So Martin goes ahead and actually eulogizes him this way.
A man was born. He laid pipe and died. Amen.
Which Martin is a fool. That's not how you eulogize. Although it was absolutely hilarious. I would totally do it too. But that's the Martin portion of it. But now they go ahead and actually lean into Brother Tommy, which Brother Tommy decides to go ahead and actually lay on the full deal, right? Of doing the whole preacher thing and doing that. You would think that he actually has preached or whatnot. And actually, Tommy in real life is actually, he was very religious and he just embodied that role. He really wouldn't actually do. He did that a few different times on a few episodes of kind of getting into that preacher's voice and whatnot.
Don't know if he was a good man, huh? Yeah. I said we don't know if he was a bad man. Right. All we know is he was a man.
As they go ahead and actually do, before they get a benediction, they figure out they said, do we know his name? No, we don't know his name or what have you. So Martin goes and actually calls him DP. And oh my goodness, Gina's like, that was so sweet. So how'd you come up with that?
Yo, DP.
That's a good one.
DP? Yeah. Martin, that is so nice. Where'd you come up with that, honey?
Dead plumber, baby.
And I would tell you, just no way that you could go and actually top that. DP. Like I said, Michael Haggerty will always go and actually be DP to me ever since that I've seen this. But we go and actually get a full-on funeral episode where they crying like he's family and they know him and all this kind of stuff. And Tommy gets into it, and I just love it. It's well written. It's hilarious. It's just how Black folks will go ahead and actually have a funeral for somebody that they know, and it's absolutely hilarious. And of course, Martin starts singing an old, I won't say Negro spiritual or anything like that, but it's actually a song called Old Man River. And I kind of felt like I heard the lyrics before on that, but I wanted to go and actually just take a look at it. This is actually a show tune that goes back all the way back to 1927 in a musical called Showboat. And it was actually written by some white dudes or whatever, so definitely not a Negro spiritual or anything like that. But it became popular. 1936, there's a film version of Showboat sung by Paul Robeson. So he was the one that, kind of made it famous or what have you. And the song is actually, it contrasts the struggles and hardships of Black folks with the endless uncaring flow of the Mississippi River. And it's sung from the point of view of a Black stevedore on a showboat. So it's played to like a slow tempo and all that kind of stuff. Some more famous covers of it were done by Gordon McRae, Frank Sinatra and the Temptations, which I'm probably thinking that's where most of people would have actually heard it before. But again, it's just a hilarious song that Martin starts singing for it. Just the spirit came upon him to go ahead and actually sing this song, and it was absolutely hilarious.
I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living, but I'm scared of dying.
So once they go ahead and actually calm down and everything's quiet, a moment of silence, all of a sudden a cough happens. DP has arisen. And of course, the group thinks that it's a miracle, but no, it was because he actually had experienced a stupor where he goes unconscious. You can't move him. It's like dead weight. You can't feel the pulse because he's fat. He explained it, all that kind of stuff on there. So the group is just amazed, whatever. And he goes and actually just listen. No, he's getting ready to get on out of there. He's like, hey, appreciate y'all put me on the couch because the last people went in and actually poured scotch in my mouth and kicked me down the flight of stairs, which, they kind of figured like, oh, snap, we was going to do that. But as he's leaving, he goes ahead and actually lets them know they did fix the toilet and he's getting up out of there. So he leaves. You hear the applause from the studio studio that was actually there watching because it's absolutely hilarious, right? And when you just the weirdness of it all, things like that, and then just coming to a conclusion on there. And the group is saying like, man, Tommy, you preached, it's been a weird night and all this kind of stuff. And as they get ready to kind of close things off, Gina's making a final resignation and, kind of like saying, you know what? Gotta go to the bathroom. And they all make a jet for the bathroom, which of course, if you think about it, that bath, that toilet's been out of commission for like a whole day. These folks been dealing with this all night or whatever. I can understand. Bathroom is going to go ahead and actually go. So that's it. That is the end of the episode of Dead Men Don't Flush. So what did I think about it? Breakdown. One, the writing. Writing was very solid. The monologue about Miss Trinidad, remember, we didn't even talk about that on there, but that was actually a hilarious story. One of the funnier monologues that he had. It was tight, concise. Everyone had time to shine in this. Everybody had lines. It was absolutely hilarious. The concepts about Black people calling 911 in the 90s was a real thing. So I like that being flipped in there. And in the funeral and throughout this whole entire episode, you hear Martin's quick wit, Cole's comedic slapstick type of comedy. Gina Pam's vocal talents actually came into play, especially in the funeral thing, and then Tommy's preaching thing. Everybody had a chance to shine. So I think it was well written for this contained episode. The acting, two biggest shout outs individually. Cole's fear of dialing 911 and then his fear of touching the dead body. And then, of course, of his mom beating him.
I killed the man, Martin. Mama gonna lay the belt to me when she find out about this one.
All that stuff was like absolutely hilarious. Like he was scared the entire episode, and he showed it throughout the entire episode. I thought that was hilarious. Michael Haggerty's ability to stay still for those scenes that whether it's Martin and Cole trying to revive him on the floor.
All right, yeah. Clear. Hey, calm down. Stop it. You stop it. You a man. Really? You a man.
Or him being still while they just riffing in on the funeral thing. It's like, I don't know how he did it. Especially when he had like a shirt open. It's like that. That was ridiculous. And then the funeral scene itself is just perfect. The acting on there, like I said, for comedic aspect of it, it's just absolutely perfect. Intangibles, the only things that probably I would just go to just say, because this is a short episode, 21 minutes, they probably had an opportunity to write like a 2 or 3 minute sketch in there of Cole trying to get into Sinead's apartment to go over there to go and actually use the restroom on there. I think that could have been a funny bit added to it. And then the impossibility of the bathroom layout as compared to the rest of the apartment. I think that was like really weird or what have you. But as far as an episode of writing, acting, self-contained, getting right into it, not a whole lot of fillers and things like that, and giving it just the minuscule purpose that it needs as a sitcom to then just kind of riff off of that. It was hilarious. It's not gonna go and actually. It wasn't like a deep meaning or anything like that. But it's a sitcom. Its whole thing is to get in there, give you a short premise, resolve it at the end of it, and have some laughs along the way. And it delivered that. It was absolutely hilarious. This I deem as not only the best episode so far in the first 5 episodes, but this is actually the first instant Martin classic. Meaning that this would I guarantee you, once I go ahead and actually break everything down, this is probably going to be an episode in, if it's not in the top 10, as I kind of reimagine and re-look at everything, I know it's going to be in my top 20, because this episode just cracks me up every time that I watch it. But there you go. Dead Men Don't Flush. Loved it. Instant classic. Tell me what you guys think about it. Is it one of your favorite ones? Did you like it? What did you like about it if you didn't? All that kind of good stuff. If you like what I'm doing out here, go ahead and actually give me a like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Give me comments. If you want, you can go ahead and actually listen to like another one of my reviews, or another one of the reviews as I'm doing the Martin show, going on through whatever you want, man. But just know that this is my passion. I love this show. I'm a Martin fan through and through as far as that particular show. And honestly, that Thursday night lineup, still thinking about going actually diving into all of them. But this is how I'm starting out. So again, if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, you can also let me know. But until the next time, you know what you got to do.
I've been waiting to say this all year, and I'm going to say it. And this is a good time. Get the stepping. Now, don't you feel tough?
Yeah.
Don't you feel strong?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like going home?
Sure.
Then get the hell out of my apartment and take... Back up a taste? Just a taste. Just give me some room. Hey. Okay, the door's gonna slam about now.